Thank you. So the thing you use is called treated music. What is treated music?
Okay. So, firstly, the music we use is mostly Mozart. We use Mozart, we use chant, and we use mother's voice. So we use Mozart because most of them, what makes Mozart unique is, when I talk to musicologists, is that the phrasing in his music is more like some of the brain pattern timings than any other composer. That's the first thing. Secondly, he was a child when he composed most of his music, and we're using the music to rectify childhood failures, childhood development. So that's why we use Mozart. Look, we've tried lots of stuff. We've tried folk, we've tried rock, we've tried grunge, we've tried non-Mozart composers, and they don't have the same effect. They're not as productive. So that's why mostly we use Mozart. We use the chant because the chant was evolved in monasteries to allow monks and nuns who are separated from society to get the sensory input they needed to support their quite punishing workload and to keep them well and healthy. And in the 19th century, the Vatican made a decree that they no longer needed the Latin chants, the Gregorian chants, that they took them away, they were no longer used, and the monks got sick and they started struggling to maintain their daily workload. So a French ear, nose and throat specialist, Dr. Tomatis, was brought in as a consultant to the Vatican, and he asked, well, what has changed in your life since you started becoming sick in these monasteries? And they said, well, we stopped doing the chant. So they brought the chant back and their health resumed. So that's why we use the chant. We don't use it for the religious component. We use it for the very special harmonics embodied in that singing. And there's one cathedral in France that still does the original chant in Latin. It's very beautiful. We use the mother's voice because during pregnancy the fetus starts hearing at between 16 and 18 weeks after conception. And the mother's voice is a vibration, and the voice box is here. It vibrates. It comes out of the mouth, of course, as a vibration, but the second thing that happens is it goes down the spine as a vibration, hits the pelvis, radiates through the pelvis, through the amniotic fluid, into the fetus. And the fetus is strongly influenced by mother's voice. Those of you that have carried a child will know that your baby responds to sound when you're carrying them. And so, because a whole lot of the nervous system is built during that period between 16 weeks and birth, it's a massive explosion of neural connections. Mother's voice is a powerful connection to that period of great growth, so we use that.
That's fascinating.
In terms of how we it's really interesting. I could talk about this all day. In terms of why we modify the music, one of the key skills in listening to the world around you is to understand the way words are spoken to you. So I can say, good day, good day, good day, good day, how are you? I mean, 5 or 6 different things, depending on how I deliver the words, depending on how I change the pitch. And we only need very, very slight pitch changes to change the meaning of what we're saying. So in the playground, one student might say to another something that is friendly in jest, and they may say the same phrase, and it's barbed and it's a nasty delivery. And if you can't work out the difference between that, it's like a minefield. You don't know how to navigate, so you're making inappropriate responses to the interactions you're getting in the playground. You're misunderstanding how people are talking to you, and this is a cause of great anxiety. And when you're feeling anxious and you're not clearly able to understand the message behind people's words, you struggle to make sense, and so you're slow, you're defensive, and you get stressed. And so the way in which we can train that is by filtering the music so that we go through from the very lowest frequencies to the very highest frequencies and filter out everything else so that the auditory system gets a chance to listen. Oh, that's 1000 K. Oh, that's 1500. I never realized that was there. That's 2000. That's 3000. And each of these frequencies we've compiled a dictionary of what they're associated with empirically, so that we know that, you know, if there's a dip at 3000, this means that, and so on. So we can correlate the audiograms with behaviour and with human performance, and by alerting the nervous system to, yes, we've got 3000 here, which you didn't notice before, we can lift the awareness of that, and then, yeah, I can tell when my mum is joking, and I can now tell when she's warning me, and I can now tell when she's being friendly to me, and when she's cautioning me about a future danger, I understand that that's a caution about danger. She's not cross with me anymore. I used to think she was cross with me. So the modifications of the music are designed to build a smooth awareness of all the sounds that we're going to be immersed with, particularly around language, so we can make sense of how people are interacting with us without stress.